Oh, Magic Makers. I'm really, really excited because I know that this is something I've been struggling with, and I'm sure many of you have been struggling with it too. So if you've been feeling like your body is rebelling against you, bloating, achy joints, stubborn belly fat, bad mood one night, amazing the next night, oh, this is for you. I have Dr. Shivani Gupta. She is an inflammation fighting powerhouse, and we're going to break down the difference between weight gain or is it inflammation and why it matters to us ladies over 40, why we're getting that puffy face, the sluggish metabolism, having that WTF moment for our bodies, and what you can actually do about it. So if you're tired of second guessing and Googling the crap out of it, you want to lean in because I got your girl here today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I love when people come across my desk that I'm like, oh my God, yes, that's what these are questions that my people are asking me. And I'm like, I don't have a good answer for you. And I like to find people like you who are like, I have the good answer.
Yeah, I have a lot of answers.
Yeah. So I always like to start with just like a basic definition. So, what is inflammation?
So it's a great question. Inflammation is basically our body's natural response to any enemy, foreign body, injury. Anything happens where the body's like, that shouldn't have happened. I need to go repair that. I need to go fix that, or I need to kick that out. The body has this response. And so sometimes it's good. If I cut my leg, yeah, please send in an inflammatory response and heal that up and seal that up. Yeah, that was not good. We need to
Hmm.
protect the skin barrier. If I hurt my elbow, yeah, please send healing white immune cells and all those things there to heal the elbow. But the problem is we are living in a moment in modern day times where everything is the enemy.
Yeah.
And I have been thinking about this a lot because I'm 45, I'm in the throes of perimenopause. And with my health, I always like to just figure it out, nip it in the bud, and win. And when I'm not winning, I'm like, oh my God, this is a beast. Okay.
Mm.
So I truly think my new hypothesis and like thesis of life is inflammation is the root cause of all disease. We know that. We talk
Mm.
about that. Like, oh, inflammation is the problem. I think as women, we're underestimating how insidious it is and how it's attacking us from all levels. And so the body, the thyroid, the gut, the brain, the entire endocrine system is on high alert. It's like you walked into like a jail and someone just escaped. Like the whole place is in chaos.
Right.
And instead of just closing down the doors, protecting itself, saying, okay, we'll deal with that one person later, it's just chaos. And that's, I think, what's happening in our body. Inflammation's running rampant. Every toxin that's out there are cleaning products, are
Mm.
pesticides. You get your car wash, there's chemicals, your nail polish and hair color, your daily shampoo, makeup, skincare. Like you're
Mm.
dropping hundreds of chemicals in first thing in the morning. The body's like, okay, I'll fight this battle. It's fine. Then we drop in stress, constant
Yeah.
stress. We drop in constant responsibilities, like that mind chatter and that noise and that burden
Mm.
we're carrying, the mental burden we talk about that women are carrying. Then you talk about our nature. Many of us are givers and nurturers. We're trying to take care of everyone and everything. Then you talk about social media and the Pinterest perfect life. And we're
Right.
trying to have this life that really 10 different women have this life, but we're trying to have all 10 women's amazing lives in our one body, in our one lifetime. Then we add on a diet that's oftentimes lacking in nutrient density,
Yeah.
nutrient variety, the vitamins and minerals we need. Then you add on sleep, and basically, it's a shit show. Like what we're saying is, body, please be resilient, please be awesome, stay vibrant, stay healthy, even though I'm dropping in 100 ways to cause inflammation and chaos.
Right.
And so inflammation is really the body's response to what doesn't belong. And our
Mm.
problem is all we're doing is things that don't create peace, harmony, or health in our bodies.
Right. And we just keep adding, like shoveling fire, coal into the fire.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a fire. It's like this insidious house fire that's going on. I have a book coming out next year, and the metaphor I gave in that book was imagine if in the attic you put away like birthday decorations, but there was this one candle that was smoldering in the box and you didn't
Mm.
realize it. And it just started catching a fire slowly in the attic and you just didn't realize it. Little, 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 little. And then boom, house is on fire. Then you notice. Then you're like, oh my gosh, my joints hurt. I have brain fog. My gut is off. I'm fatigued. I can't remember anything when I walk in a room. I'm forgetting words. Um, I just don't feel like myself. I'm gaining weight around the middle and I'm gaining weight overall. I'm puffy overall. How am I going to win at this? What's
Right.
happening? And so what do? We double down on the workout. We go push.
Exactly.
I'm like, okay, I'll lift heavier. We're like, oh, I'm just not hydrating enough. I'll hydrate. Oh, I need to eat cleaner. Let me live on a salad only diet and
Hmm.
cut all the fat and good nutrition out of my life. But we forget really it's inflammation reduction and that conscious effort towards inflammation reduction, the root cause, that will help us get what we want at the end of that rainbow.
So I'm everything you laid out. I'm like, that's, that is people who are listening to the show. So if you were listening to the show, nodding along and being like, girl, how did you know? Well, you keep listening. So, like you said, I think the first thing that happens for most women is that they step on the scale, or my pants don't fit, or I just look at myself in the mirror and I just feel like, I'm this like never ending blimp that's just getting air pumped into me. How do I know if it is truly fat versus inflammation?
It's a tough question. So, if you were going to the doctor and you got blood work done, and the doctor's like, well, your cholesterol is up, your A1C is up, your HSCRP is up, all these numbers are up, that's a sign that you are inflamed. The body is like,
Gotcha.
insulin resistance is creeping up, cholesterol is a sign of inflammation, HSCRP is a direct measurement of inflammation. So, you could get blood work done and say, okay, is it inflammation in the system or is it not? That's one way. Another good way to look at it is if I did the top three things to reduce inflammation, would they work? And
Hmm.
would that be the winning tool? Recently, I did a 3-day water fast, which to me always sounded like insane. I was like, who are these people who can stop eating for 3 days? I will kill my children. Everyone will go. Like, I won't function. I will melt down and
Right.
die. But I hired a coach and I was like, listen, I have leaky gut. My company is growing so fast. I have to do a book launch. I don't have time to my whole brain on what I eat. Can you
Mm.
help me? And I was like, I teach leaky gut. So it's kind of funny that I'm hiring for accountability, but I think coaches need coaches. And
They
I'm always
do.
so clear that like I need coaching in my business and in my life too. And she basically said, I need you to kick off with a water fast. So
Mm.
once I did it, I was fast. It was not easy, but I did it.
No. Yeah.
Afterwards, I was so de-inflamed. I
Mm.
look leaner. I look thinner. Like it's 2 weeks out now. Like there's no reason to keep the result if you're eating the way you generally normally eat. But I think it was just such a reset to the gut, clearing and cleaning out all the stuff that's
Yeah.
holding and keeping us inflamed. And so that's kind of my reminder to everyone. And it was such a powerful reminder to me because I teach Ayurveda. Ayurveda is this ancient system of medicine from India. It's 5,000 years old. It's this ancient wisdom that says if we just focus on bringing the body into harmony, clearing out our gut microbiome, and letting it do its job, then we're going to have a healthy, sacred fire that we call it Agni, the digestive fire, that'll do the whole job for us. It'll process those pesticides, it'll process the foods that we eat that are processed too. It'll move through everything and give us what we want, which is a
Mm.
healthy, robust body. And so to answer your question, it's hard to know, but I like to approach it as sometimes I am getting puffy and looking like, what's happening? Everything's getting tighter. My jeans are tighter. And all of a sudden I paused and I'm like, why don't you just focus on the top three things to reduce inflammation? Fix your sleep first. Sleep is
Hmm.
the easy one. If you can just go to sleep on time and sleep well, that's the easiest of the healthy habits that reduce inflammation. Number two, really take your turmeric. I make a turmeric supplement, so I'm very passionate about turmeric, and my PhD is on turmeric. So I'll reach into turmeric first as my next tool to just significantly reduce inflammation in the system. And then number three, reduce stress. And I know
Yeah.
that that one's the hardest.
Yep.
It's by far the hardest. But what I'll do, and I'm doing it right now in my life, I'm taking conscious stock of when I'm super stressed. And I'm like,
Mm.
can you do the same moment but not stressed? Can you
Yeah.
just run through the same action? Yeah, you're late picking up your kid. Everyone can wait 5 minutes,
Yep.
and just setting the intentions of peace throughout the day. Because otherwise, that stress alone will keep us in fight or flight mode, our sympathetic mode. And as women, we can't rest, digest, or heal as women or men in that mode. But as women, especially, I think we're constantly in this fire, everything's on
Yes.
fire mode. And so it's just a tiny practice of like, okay, I'm gonna sip my tea and just have tea. I'm
Yeah.
gonna eat and just eat. The eating one is actually really hard. Most of us are used to shoveling food in as
Right.
we're like doing five things. And so it's like if you can take just 3 minutes to chew and eat that food, your body will receive it, it'll digest it better, it'll absorb it better, and it'll give you what you want. Because otherwise, we're shoveling in food, body doesn't know what we're sending down the pipes. It doesn't process it well, which creates its own digestive issues. So we've
Mm,
got stuff sitting in the body that's not absorbing. We've got a body that's kind of running on empty because of that. But then we're expecting it to be resilient and fight
yeah.
off inflammation. So that's where I kind of try to highlight for women, like, let's just create sacred pauses, mindful moments in our day. I teach that as tea time is me time.
Yeah.
I pause. I haven't had enough cups of tea yet today, but I pause and take a cup of tea and just take that moment to tune into my intuition and ask, how am I doing today?
Mm,
Have I eaten today? Am I going to be getting dinner at the schedule I'm running? What do I need to change for today to be better? What do I need to change this week for it to be better? And my own intuition gives very powerful answers. It'll be like,
yeah.
you didn't eat breakfast. Like, where's the protein coming in? You haven't paused for your supplements. And I'll restructure. I'll say, okay, at high tea at 3 o'clock, everything gets to go in the system. Or I'll cancel things based on what my intuition says. And so Ayurveda, this wisdom that I'm honored to teach, says if you just build those mindful moments throughout your day, everything will shift because you'll make those better choices for yourself.
Yeah. I like because the stress thing, I know so many women who are like, I know, but that's just my life. And you're like, and you nailed it. You're like, is that what you're choosing? Right? You're right. Like we all run late. We were talking this morning. You're like, hey, can you give me 30 minutes?
Yeah,
And you're like, all I could do is ask, right? I could race to the meeting or I could ask for an extra 30 minutes. You asked
right.
for an extra 30 minutes. So I was like, sure. And some people in their head builds up like, what is she gonna think about me? What does this mean? And meanwhile, you're like, all I can do is ask. And if she says no, I'll make it work. But if she says yes, even more better.
Exactly. And I think we don't ask enough for what we need. I
Mm,
am a big believer in always ask. I am
yeah,
always asking, can I have this? Can I have that? Can it be in this way? I'm not shy because if you don't ask, you never know.
right.
But I also think we forget to build in us into
Yes.
our own schedule. Like
Yeah.
I have a schedule and it is jammed to the hilt. I have my business office days, I have my home office days. On my home office days are my podcast days. I lift weight, I do my protein after that. Like it is a rigid schedule.
Mm,
My kids are older now, so I can pack it even tighter than I used to. I used to leave a 20% flex for school calls with sick kid and all that stuff. I don't have to anymore. So I actually wind it all tighter. And
mm,
the question I've been asking myself is, what are you chasing? How
yes.
how many accolades do we
Yes.
need? Like I just got nominated for an Emmy this week and I was like, "What? That's so cool for a TV show I built with a whole team." And then I thought, "Okay, how many more things do you want?" Like you could keep going or you could build your health, but you can't
Right.
sacrifice your health in the name
Mm,
of the company and the business and the dream. There's no coming back from that. We can't fully reverse all the things we do.
yeah,
So
yeah.
really bringing in that consciousness of built the thing and hold 10% of schedule for you. It's okay.
Yeah. No, and I like it. One, congratulations on the Emmy. But I like the like when I first was kind of in my like hustle hardcore mode, I
Yeah.
remember a coach that I worked with, she called it coffee with the universe. And she was like, you decide when the coffee happens. She's like, it's just the name. She's like, it doesn't even have to be coffee. It could be a glass of water, whatever it is. But
Yeah.
she's like, take that like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, and just sit down. And, like you said, ask the question, like, what do I need today?
Yeah.
And you like you said, if you truly sit down and you get quiet, your body, your mind's going to tell you whatever it's going to tell you.
Yeah.
And the more you do it, I wouldn't say like the more, I'm going to say faster because you're now more attuned to you and being able to do a better body scan of like, you know what, today I told myself it was going to work out, but today's not the day. Like I
Yeah.
need to either maybe just go for a walk, maybe do some foam rolling, maybe just like sit here and have 2 glasses of tea, like
Yeah.
whatever it
Exactly.
is. But like you're right. I think so many of us say our life is stressful, but
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know if we don't know how to function without the stress.
True. We enter into that gear, and it's so many of us. Sometimes it's because we're the eldest child. Sometimes I think it's that. Sometimes it's just because we are achievers and we want
Yeah.
to achieve great things. I want
Yeah.
to leave a legacy. I want to impact a billion lives. Like the dreams just keep growing.
Or
And
hell, I just want to check everything off my to-do list and like, I don't know where the prize is, but like there's some
yeah,
prize out there.
yeah, and the to-do list never ends. I had a coach named Mina Shah years ago, and she said, when you're on your deathbed, will your last regret be that you forgot to pick up the dry cleaning? Like,
Right.
is that
I,
really what it's going to be? But a lot of times as a businesswoman, I will clear the personal list all weekend because I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to go library, car
yes.
cleaning, dry cleaning, groceries, those other groceries, all the things, because it's easier. It takes less mental energy. And even this weekend, I was like, no, you have to do an entire book launch. Like, you have to build out how you're going to share this wisdom in hundreds of videos. Like, that is the work. And so, what I do is from Ayurveda, I teach something called the doshas or the
Mm,
individual mind body constitutions. And I love illuminating for people that we are either a vata, a pitta, or kapha. These are three different body types, they're three different personality types. But once you know your type, and I have a quiz on my website at drshivani.com that people can take, but once you know your type, you know how to stay balanced for your body type.
mm,
If you're more vata, you're going to tend towards anxiety, overwhelm. It's a more wind energy, constantly in motion. And so my vata people, I always say, listen, your homework is grounding first. If you
right.
just ground first, put your feet on the earth or move in nature first, everything will be better for the day. I'm a pitta, I'm a fire. I just do everything that generates too much fire. And then I'm always like, why am I so overwhelmed and burnt out? Why do I do this every day and every week? But I also have the tools. As soon as I feel the overheating feeling, that
Mm.
over burning volcano feeling in myself, I'm like, oh, coconut water, peppermint tea.
Yeah.
There's a cool, eat a piece of fruit, it'll cool you right down. So we can learn how to use food and drinks and tools in our day, customized to our own constitution.
Right,
And
right.
then the final one is kapha, earth with water. This is like your bigger, stronger, big boned person, more sturdy. They need support moving their metabolism and energy in the morning. Otherwise, the whole day runs slow. They're like, why couldn't I get anything done? Why couldn't I get off the couch? And so I like to really show people that Ayurveda shows us our constitution, shows us how to really fix gut health as the first priority and how to ignite that digestive fire. I talked a lot about the sattvic diet, this diet that's all about nutrition, not about taking everything out of our lives and out of our
Yes.
hands, which is the current trend and it has been for
Yeah.
decades, where we're just running on empty and expecting so much goodness from the body. So sattvic diet is like, how do you nourish for your body type? Then I teach a lot about self-care because I need
Yes.
self-care.
Yeah.
And it's detoxing self-care that helps you build a rhythm throughout your day so you align to your circadian rhythm and your circadian clock because Ayurveda came up with the circadian clock that we talk about nowadays. And so us as women being in alignment with that rhythm is actually one of the most powerful tools we have to fight inflammation and stay more balanced in our body. And then finally, I teach a lot about super spices since my biggest area of study was turmeric. But when it comes to that self-care piece and talking about what you're talking about, which is coffee with the universe, which I love. It's like tea time with the universe is such a more beautiful way to say, let that universe fill your mind with what you need. When I talk about rhythm, what I mean is wake up in the morning and move. Either you
Yeah.
walk 30 minutes in nature, you get your workout in, whatever it takes to move your
Yeah.
energy in the way you need it moved so your brain comes online, your energy comes online. You've moved your lymphatic system. We
Mm.
need the lymphatic system to churn and burn and move through and clear out. We need that digestive fire ignited. So if we can, I love for everyone to move in the morning and then go through your day, have your most productive day, morning time. Lunch, we teach that 12 to 2, 10 to 2 really on the clock is the pitta time of day on the circadian clock. And so lunch is supposed to be the biggest meal of the day. It's when we have
Yeah.
the most firepower to process all the nutrition in our meal. So I always think of lunch as like fit in some superfoods. Don't make it just salad. Like
Yeah.
put in your protein and really get something nutrient dense because you have the fire to absorb it. And then plan for in the afternoon, you're going to have some brain fog. You're going to have the lull in energy. So, can you pause and have your tea and your yummy snack then? Can you clear the to-do list then when you've got half brain
Yeah.
capacity?
Yeah.
Do it then. Don't waste your morning hours on that. So I like to work with women who are either entrepreneurs or who are in business or women who just want to understand how to move through perimenopause, menopause more easily.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's by building the rhythm, it's by reducing inflammation, it's by honoring sleep as like a number one key health category, not the
Yeah.
last one that we take for
Hmm.
granted, the first one. So I meet women who all the time who are like, I can't sleep. All of a sudden, I can't sleep. I'm like, that's because our progesterone is tanking, our hormones are tanking, everything's tanking. My job is to show you how to create new brain cells, new mitochondria, how to kill off cells that don't belong. Turmeric will do that in the body. It'll cause cell death and clear out the gunk and the oxidative stress. My job is to show you how to leverage all the tools for good sleep. I make sleep gummies, I make a sleep tea, or I tell everyone go get progesterone from your doctor.
Yeah.
But reach into every toolkit you need to win. And that's what I've been doing in perimenopause. I hired an HRT doctor for hormone replacement therapy. I hired a coach to hold me accountable. I am the practitioner, so I know how to do my Ayurveda plan. But I've had to use all the kits
Oh,
at
yeah.
once,
Yeah, yeah.
which was kind of shocking to me. But I think every 10 years, as women, the body changes so much, we have to really calibrate into that and bring the tools in so we can feel the way we deserve to feel.
Right. And so you mentioned a lot of things there that I want to circle back because right, I feel like gut health is having this moment, right? And so, you know, if I now, and now that I said I'm going to scroll on my socials, I'm going to see a lot of crap. Um, but when you see gut health, the first thing people are like, I need a probiotic or
Right.
I need some type of cleanse or I need, so what is the connection between gut health and inflammation?
So, when it comes to our gut microbiome actually starts at our oral microbiome, and then it ends with our ability to poop and excrete everything that we're supposed to. And so, in Ayurveda, we taught that taking care of the oral microbiome
Mm,
is the first step to our digestive health. Like, don't take your mouth for granted. And so, number one, we recommend in the morning using a copper tongue scraper and gently scraping the tongue 7 to 14 times. Sounds like a tiny little unimportant habit, but that habit is igniting the digestive fire.
huh,
And we teach in Ayurveda that all the organs of the tongue are reflected, all the organs of the body are reflected on the tongue, just like in reflexology, they're
yep.
reflected on the bottom of your feet. And so by taking a copper tongue scraper, that can be your first self-care habit. You just brush your teeth and then scrape your tongue gently 7 to 14 times. You don't go so far back that you gag yourself. But when you do this, all of a sudden you're going to clear your tongue. You're going to have your taste buds working better. You're cleaning up your oral health, which supports your gut microbiome health. What's interesting about gut is we nowadays think of food as fuel. As women, a lot of times food is the enemy, food is a struggle, food is a chore. A lot of
Mm,
us, I'm working. I don't have time to worry about food. Food sourcing is annoying to me. Food cooking is annoying to me. Food heating is annoying to me. So it's like, how do we bring the love back
mm,
into food? Because it's what's going to nourish all our cells and help us function. And then how do we do it in a healthy way so we're not microwaving the food and killing the food? I tell everyone use your oven or your stove. Really avoid the microwave whenever possible. Really cleaning up our act around food is going to help that food be more nutrient dense for us. And the problem with modern day society is truly that the majority of us have some level of leaky gut. And
mm.
that leaky gut that we're all struggling with, or some level of gut dysbiosis, is causing the inflammation that we struggle with.
Yeah.
I myself, I just did some DNA tests on myself and learned, okay, I don't even have the genetics to support a healthy microbiome. I'm
Mm,
lacking in those genetics. And I was like, wow, no wonder I've been obsessed with this topic for 20 years and had to become an expert in it. So my job is literally to live a non-toxic lifestyle that supports my gut lining. And what's cool is in Ayurveda, Ayurveda's whole teaching centers around this gut digestive fire and a healthy gut.
mm,
And so I teach women, yeah, probiotic matters. Yeah, all the building blocks for a good gut matter. Probiotic, prebiotic foods, eating good healthy fats that really line that gut lining and rebuild it are important. Taking circadian detoxes, so once a quarter, taking a couple days and really dropping the diet down so the gut can just heal
mm.
itself. That was the water fast. Just let the gut repair itself. If we're going to keep dropping in food, we're never giving it the break it needs.
Yeah.
For some, not all types, we can do intermittent fasting. And so, if you can do intermittent fasting and hold a 12-hour fast or a 14-hour fast, we don't have to be extreme, nor should we hold any fast for all 30 days of our cycle in the same way. But if we can flex and hold a cycle when it's the right time, we can give ourselves support. So there's a lot we can do. And I think it gets really overwhelming because it's another list of self-care to add to the
Right.
list. And so it's about how do you build each habit and practice into your life as your rhythm and as a non-negotiable. So for example, in my house, we only cook the food and we never keep leftovers past 1 day. That's like
Mm.
one rule I have. I don't want to eat old dead food that's lacking prana because I need my food to nourish my cells and I need it easy to digest for the guts in my home. My poor kids probably have my genetics for their guts from what I can see. And so that's like one rule. The other rule, we only store food in glass.
Yeah.
Even the leftovers I see come in, I'm always like, oh, we should move it out of those plastic containers. That's not good for us. Am I perfect about that? No. But the food we cook, we store it in glass Pyrex.
Mm.
That's an easy one. We reheat on the stove or in the oven. That's another one. So even whatever you're eating, let's say you're eating Papa John's or pizza or Chick-fil-A, whatever it is, doesn't matter as long as you're heating it properly, you're consuming it properly. We're allowed to have some fun foods and processed foods. It's just important that we're not having habits that always denature the food and take the nutrition out of the food. That
Gotcha.
was a key piece that Ayurveda said was, we can actually eat a pretty robust diet. The problem is how we're cooking the food, the energy we're putting in that food. If we're going to make it, if we're going to make food an anger or unhappiness, that's what it's going to be infused with.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And as you kind of alluded to, so right now I feel like, the gut health is having a moment, but I also feel like, the anti-inflammatory diet, the AIP protocols are,
Yeah.
out there. And so what's your take on that? Most people are told like eat a Mediterranean diet and like magically all your inflammation will just drip away.
I think we're all so bio-individual. It's so annoying. I wish it was easy that I could say, hey, follow the Mediterranean and you're great. I am constantly spending a lot of money on testing with functional medicine. I feel like my whole life budget has gone there in the last year. And now, after so much testing, what I've come to understand is Shivani is not supposed to eat a lot of carbs. She doesn't
Mm.
process carbs well. And I'm vegetarian and I love cheese. And the test said lactose intolerant, don't eat eggs, and don't eat carbs. And I was like, guys, what would you like me to eat? Broccoli and Brussels sprouts all
Right,
day?
you're like, am I
And it
gonna
said
live off rice cakes and water? Like, oh my
exactly. So I think we can get too extreme. And
Mm,
it happens all the time. We do AIP, we do all sorts of things to ourselves. And as women, we're so trained to do things to ourselves. I've been
yes.
trained since high school to not eat. That's what I did in
Hmm.
high school.
And if it's not hard, why not? Why do it?
Yeah. And we have to commit and it has to be difficult and we have to really torture ourselves and be so disordered, whether it's the
Mm,
eating disorder or the orthorexia. I mean, I see so many women in my gym and I'm like, what are you people doing to look like that? Because it can't be easy for that to be the look that you've got just walking
right.
on the earth. And then I think, okay, well, what is balanced for me in
Yes.
my life as a mother, working full time to build my dream and trying to manage a mega large family? What is possible for me? And
Mm,
what is the priority? And so the
yeah.
conversation I have to have myself with myself all the time is it about the looks or is it about the health on the inside? Because
Right.
one oftentimes directly combats the other. It's easier for me to just eat less and look good. It's a lot harder the work it takes to have a really healthy, robust microbiome, to eat for nutrient diversity, eat seasonally, pull all the good stuff into a meal and do that with effort 3 times a day. It's
Yeah,
easier to
yeah.
be like, I'm just going to eat my eggs with pesto, call it a day. I'm just going to eat my
Right.
this. And so my invitation to everyone is pick one meal a day, just one. And
Yes.
in that one meal, put in the love. So for me, it's usually
Yes.
dinner. I'll get home and I'll be like, I said I'd eat, I don't know, sauerkraut, and I found one that doesn't taste horrible. 2 spoons. I said I'd eat sprouts. Grab a handful. I said I'd eat more vegetables. Grab some broccoli. So pick that one meal where you can think about yourself and truly invest in your diversity of your gut microbiome. Diversity is an important word. A lot of times now, we're eating really mono diets. And I just had a farmer who interviewed me for his podcast, and I'm going to have him on mine as well. And we had a whole conversation where he was growing 26 varieties of tomatoes.
Huh.
And I said to him, I Instacart from Costco. I am offered one tomato. That is the box I order every week, 52 weeks a year. I forgot that there's varieties of tomatoes.
Right.
So when I say diversity, I'm getting no diversity because I choose to order from these same three stores all week long, all year long.
Right.
And so really the invitation there is when you're having an easier season, if you could take one
Mm,
season a year where you go a little easier on yourself. For me, I'm a pitta. I take my summer and I downshift
mm,
speed. In that season, can you bring in food with love? Can you bring in visiting the farmer's market? Can you bring in new recipes? I'm not
right.
asking for year round. I always
Yes.
think of summer as like my creative time. If I want to write a book, I'm going to take some time in the summer. If I want to try new things. And so for you, it may be if you're a Vata person, that may be in the fall that you need to downshift. If
Right.
you're a Kapha person, that's a winter that you should downshift. But taking a season when you're always like, this is my downshift season to bring in those healthy habits. I think that can be a huge game changer for people.
You know, you said two things that like, and we did not talk about this before. Two things that I am always preaching to my clients is that ask the question, what's possible for me, right? Because it's like for years, diet culture was like, here are your rules, follow them or die. And, people wrap themselves around the axle to, contort their life to said diet and wonder why they can't keep going on it. And the
Yeah.
second thing that I've started to really embrace, especially after I hit 40 and menopause just punched me in the face, was my season. All right. I can't always be hardcore. Like hardcore sucks.
Yeah.
And at some point, like you said, I wanted to loosen the reins and have a social life and not be like, oh, we got three social events this week. Oh, which one do I choose? Like,
Right.
who do I say no to? And I just had to like give myself that beat. And I like summer for especially diversity because, I live in New England and
Mhm.
that's when the harvest comes in. So it's
Yeah.
like from this point forward, there's going to be new crop
Right.
coming into the grocery store. Farmers markets are popping up. So it's worth the like carving out the 30 minutes for me to go down to the farmers market and see what new stuff has popped up. So that,
Exactly.
and if I spend my winter eating frozen vegetables, so be it.
Right.
That that is the lore of living in the Northeast. But
Right.
I know that from pretty much, May through probably November, I can eat as many different things as I can and know that that's my season. And,
It's awesome.
that's what our ancestors did. Like we didn't have strawberries in January. Like that
Nope.
just was not a thing.
No, yeah, and we're supposed to eat seasonally to get what we need for our body to absorb what we're supposed to. So I love that. I love that I went to college in Boston, and you're right, the weather's just stunning from through the summer, and it's to be enjoyed and relished. That's your time to walk outside more every night and bike and just move. So yeah, I think really we have programmed ourselves to believe that we have to be on and in
Mm,
go mode and at full throttle. I think of it as cars all the time. Like I'm supposed to be in
yes.
fifth gear at full speed, 24/7, 365 days a year. And menopause and perimenopause, the journey, the transformation, that transition is teaching us no. And
Yes.
we in modern day society are like, are you freaking kidding me? You need to sit down. I've got no time for that transition. I plan to go full throttle until I'm 70. Then we will talk about slowing down, right? And
Yeah.
that's the problem. The body is trying to say one thing, our being is trying to say another, and nature is saying, hey guys, you were meant to slow down. And this is a conversation my friends and I have all the time. We're like, whoa, we have parents who are in their 70s and we have kids who are in their teens and everything is happening to us at the same time.
Right.
Maybe we were supposed to be done having kids. Maybe they were supposed to be in college by now. And I don't know about the parents. Maybe our parents were going to be older, however we did this. But it wasn't meant to be 800 responsibilities as we grew company, invested in property and built wealth. Like it's too much to ask for. And then we keep running into a brick wall.
Yeah.
And so that's where Ayurveda is like, yo, take the seasons. If
Yes,
you give
yes.
yourself the season to recharge, you can probably use your full throttle speed for the other 8, 9 months. But if you don't give yourself the season, I'm sorry, I can't give you that speed anymore.
Right. Or it's like, give yourself that ramp. So it's like maybe you're in fifth gear, but we're going to downshift to fourth. We're going to downshift to third. And maybe if we have enough energy, we can go back up. Or sometimes you might even have to downshift down to second and just like chill the hell out.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's
Most,
very
it
hard.
depends on your personality. It's hard for me to do that because I'm always
Yes.
like, what if I never go back to five? Like, what if I
Right.
just decide to hang out at two forever because it feels so nice?
Yeah, you exactly. You're like, oh, this feels good. But I always feel
Yeah.
like if I told myself it's only 90 days, then it's
Yeah.
like, okay, it's every 90 days I do a revisit. So it's like, okay, where am I? Like how do I feel? And if I've given myself that rest, my body's like, all right, girl, we can sprint right now. But if I'm always sprinting, at some point, my body's just gonna be like, I'm gonna be over here, and your mind could do whatever the hell it wants to do.
Yeah, we get dysregulated. Gut stays dysregulated. Brain doesn't come back online. We're in parasympathetic. From a health standpoint, I can give you all the terminology as to why it's not going to work. And yet, I find as women, we're like, but still, I want to do it. So I think of it as the summer. I take June, July, and August. I block my entire calendar for June. I'm like, I'm not talking to a human on a camera for the month of June. That is my gift to myself. I travel with my kids and I recover from that and take space. And once I've taken that space, it's like, okay, I can hit the ground running in July and August, but still, it's going to be with kindness. It's going to be an adjusted schedule. And I think it's so important that each of us takes the downshift season.
I do. I absolutely love it. And I wrote it down. I love like the downshift. Like it's just such a good like term because we've well, I guess nowadays most people probably have not driven a manual car. But
Yeah.
for those of us who have driven a manual car,
Yeah.
the downshift makes sense. All right. So I want to respect your time. So I want to give you a couple rapid fire questions. Inflammation buster,
Mm.
turmeric latte or green juice?
Oh my gosh. So I built a turmeric supplement company. I'm all about taking turmeric the right way as a supplement. So you get
Mm,
that extract to deliver a result. So I don't do any turmeric beverages. I do green juice because it's nourishing and good for you.
right. Awesome. What's the biggest myth about inflammation that you want to bust?
People think that inflammation is so complex. It's really as simple as self-care and loving your gut and sleeping really well. Like you can keep it real simple and free and win at inflammation.
One daily non-negotiable habit that could help keep inflammation low.
Ooh, a simple one. Go to bed by 10 o'clock.
Oh my God. Seriously, I'm not prompting her at all, but like she's just speaking my love language right now. I'm always like, get your ass to bed. Like there's nothing waiting for you. Like that's my me time is at night. I'm like, that's Kim time. Like, don't you dare interrupt my Kim time.
Yep, I agree.
And what's the one question women aren't asking about inflammation but should be?
The number one question we're not asking is for bigger and better blood work at the doctor's
Ugh.
office. So we get the measurements and the numbers we need to prove to ourselves that yes, something has to change. A lot of times you go for your regular checkup, and this happened to me for many years, where I was like, okay, doc, like there's these 10 things wrong. They're like, oh, you're 30, you're 35,
Right,
nothing is wrong. You're saying you have brain fog, just like exercise more and eat better. And I looked at
right.
them are you freaking kidding me? You people don't even run proper thyroid panels. I
Mm-mm.
said for many years, I said, I think I'm high estrogen. Can someone check all the hormones? Turns out I was postmenopausal progesterone. So I was right. No one was listening.
Right.
Always, if you are not getting the answer you need, switch doctors, find a better practitioner, find an integrative practitioner, a functional practitioner. If it's in your budget, they will definitely really dive into your health.
Yeah.
So really get the answers you need is my message there. We all need to do stool tests and understand what's happening with our gut, at
Yeah.
least on an every other year basis. And your typical medical model will not dive that deep into it to tell you, hey, there's inflammation happening here. There's red alarm signs ringing. When my cholesterol goes up and my A1C goes up, I'm like, whoa, you are not behaving in the way your body needs you to. It's running inflamed. You need to take this more seriously and put all those habits in place. Check the gut, check sleep, take your turmeric, do all these things. And then all of a sudden, everything gets better.
Yeah, for sure. And the last one, if you want to reduce inflammation, what's the first thing you ditch?
Ooh, I ditched the top inflammatory foods.
Yeah,
Gluten is a culprit for many people, not everyone, but many. So I make all my clients cut gluten for 2 weeks, and then they learn when they bring it back in what it was doing for them. Was it
yeah,
massive fatigue, brain fog, and gut issues, or are they fine? I always wish for everyone to be fine on gluten, but I had to give up gluten. Then next one, dairy. Dairy is inflammatory to a lot of people. I'm trying to give it up. It's not easy.
you're
When I
not
have to give up dairy, I switch into like goat's milk, feta cheese, and Parmesan, which has no lactose. I always hope that Parmesan is fine or raw cheeses. So really look at what is inflaming you when it comes to dairy. Sugar, we know is inflammatory, all sugar. So find those sugar alternatives. Learn to make treats that you love that are alternative. We know that alcohol is inflammatory. So I'm not saying everyone has to give up their alcohol, but limit the alcohol usage. Really cut it down. I've cut mine down significantly in the last years or two. I would always go to an event and be like, sure, I'd love some wine. And now I'm
right.
like, you know what? If it's not phenomenal, I'm not wasting the calories or the inflammation that's going to
Yeah,
happen to my brain and the sleep it's going to ruin in perimenopause. It's just not worth that price. And then finally, processed foods. There's a lot of processed foods we all eat. I think that's normal in this day and age. But where can we just reduce the amount of processed? When it comes to Costco, for example, there's like regular pasta or organic pasta from Italy. So if
mm,
you can choose the ones that are sourced better, built better, all of a sudden your daily toxic burden in the body is reduced. So that's my simple way to reduce inflammation is cut out the inflammatory foods that are most inflammatory to you and your
right,
system.
right. Yeah, no, that's exactly what I say to my clients. I'm like, let's just cut it out and
Yeah.
then not have it for a bit and then put one in at a time and see, like you said, like it could be that it's Parmesan cheese is perfect for you, but if you had cheddar, you're gonna blow up like a balloon. So it's like,
Exactly.
let's kind of, find our yin and our yang of our foods. Um,
Absolutely.
and so I ask everyone this one final question. What's one thing that makes you feel magical?
For me, it's tea. I have
Uh,
tea time 5 times a day, and every time I sip and have tea, I'm so happy,
yay.
especially if I just take that moment for myself and tune
Mm,
inwards and just ask myself those intuitive questions and let my own intuition build the
yeah,
muscle of giving me the right answers. Our
yes,
own intuition as women is our superpower, and we
yes,
forget about it. We're like, oh, yeah, I have to be so logical. No, actually.
right.
Your intuition is giving you yes, no answers all day. And
Mm-hmm.
my tea time is when I tune in and I'm like, this guy said this. Should I do it? No. That business idea I have, should I do that? No. So there's a
Mm,
yes, no ability for us to answer our own questions that honor our highest self. And that time with the universe is very powerful.
yeah, so powerful. I'm with you. I think so many of us downplay our intuition versus like really like hearing that voice. Like we keep it say like, oh, shut up, you don't know. But like that voice knows.
It does. It does. It's our own inner being and it's navigating for us and with us. It wants us to survive and thrive. So why not ask that intuition the opinion? Because it's pulling from a lot more data than our mind. It's pulling from our heart, it's pulling from our aura, it's pulling from our gut. Our intuition's tuned into everything all at once. And so for me, tea time is me time is my ultimate gift to myself as an achiever who always wants to do 1 million things.
Mm-hmm.
It's my number one tool to make me pause, tune in, check in, drop into my parasympathetic nervous system, calm the heck down,
Yep.
and then proceed.
Yeah, this you've like it's so funny. I love that like you've given me so many like quick little insights and everyone listening. I hope you've gotten some quick little like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna give that a shot. I'm gonna give that a try. And don't give everything a shot. Pick
Yeah,
one thing just to see how it moves the needle for you or not. And so where can people find you on the socials?
for sure. So I am at Dr. Gupta on Instagram. My website is my name, shivanigupta.com. I have the Fusionary Health podcast, and my supplement company is called Fusionary Formulas for the turmeric and the teas and the things I mentioned. And I made a special code for your audience. FGM will give them 15% off at Fusionary.
Perfect, because I'm a sucker for tea, even in the summertime. I drink it year round. But
Me
just
too.
turn the air conditioning up when you're drinking in the summer. Uh,
Exactly.
but this has just been such a delight, and I will put all of this information in the show notes so that you guys can easily find the teas and all of the various supplements that she sells. Thank you so much for taking the time today. This has just been really, really good.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. I love this.
Yeah. All right, magic makers, you know where I am. And if you picked one thing out of this show that just was like, oh, yeah, I would love for you to screenshot it and tag myself and Shivani on the I was like the social grams, on the socials. All right, magic makers, thank you so much for listening. And thank you so much for your time today.